Hello, beautiful souls of this community. How are you doing today? Welcome, welcome. So, as you may know, my name is Lori, and I am here to share with you today what the topic says about a sweet dessert that is healthy. Yes, as I asked in the topic, do you have a sweet tooth, but you still want to be healthy? I know I sure do. I love having treats, nice sweet tasting foods, although I don't care for too much sugar. But I always want to feel like I want something healthy. So generally I make them myself and then I know what I'm putting in. I've shared some good recipes in the past for some good sweet desserts, but today I found something that is like phenomenal. It's so good. It's making my light blink behind us. So here we are. The energy is shifting and changing. So this recipe that I got today came across because I had seen a post someone writing about carrots and what they should do with all these extra carrots. And I was like, oh, let's see what kind of answers are in there. And when I took a look, someone suggested there was an Indian name for a dessert. And I was like, I never heard of that before, but I know I like Indian food. Now, interestingly enough, I generally tend to shy away from eating Indian food or cooking Indian food, I should say, because um, it actually requires a lot of different spices and pretty good skill level to really put it together properly. I can mix, Indian curry and some spices together a little bit, but the real deal, it doesn't happen in my kitchen exactly the way that I like it to taste generally. So generally I leave Indian cooking for proper Indian chefs that can provide that good food. But this dessert, when I read it, with the main ingredient being carrots, I thought, yes, this sounds delicious. So the main ingredient is carrots, and the original recipe that I saw actually had called for whole milk. You could also, it said, use condensed milk or powdered milk. All of these things are a no for me. I prefer to use animal-free products in my kitchen. I want to really focus on whole foods or vegan, right? So no cruelty in my kitchen. So, of course, you don't need whole milk, you don't need condensed milk or powdered milk. We can do that by having a nut milk or a milk substitute, right? So, what I did was made a cashew milk. Now, I always have nuts on hand at home because I know that these things come up in my life, and I suggest that if you are new to eating in plant-based vegan style, or this is something in your life, even if you've been doing it for a long time, definitely having nuts in your kitchen is really essential because they can be added into many different things, and it's just nice to have them on hand, and they last a long time if stored properly as well. So I made myself some cashew milk, and with the recommendation from a recipe I found, because it said about like how much sugar to add in the recipe and different things like that, it said if you are doing a cashew milk and making your own, you can add more date paste or whole dates to the cashew milk. So that's what I did. I added, usually if I would make cashew milk, I sometimes don't even add any sweetener, but maximum 3 dates. I think I added 7 this time. So that was quite a sweet level up for the milk, but it specifically was for this recipe. So I had 4 large carrots. I made approximately a liter of the nut milk. In the nut milk, when I made that, I also added cardamom seeds. I had some green cardamom pods here and I cut them and put the seeds. It would be nice if I had I don't even know what it's called, this grinder for making the powder. Now this is exactly where I go wrong in Indian kitchen because every Indian kitchen has one. I do have one, just not with me at the moment. But anyways, so since I didn't have that, I just put that in the nut milk. So in the nut milk, I had cashews, some cardamom seeds, a little bit of salt, and I had dates. Blended that up with water. I didn't strain anything. And then I had 4 carrots, 4 quite medium to large size carrots, peeled them. I chopped them. Is what the recipe calls for is grating them on a large scale for the grater. I didn't have that, so I used my handy dandy Thermomix, which is similar like a blender in this case. I cut up the carrots into about 4 to 5 centimeter pieces and put everything in there just to mix it up easier because didn't feel like with the little grater that I have, it would have been really too mushy or mashed up. And that would have been also quite troublesome to really go through everything on this tiny little grater. So 4 carrots, basically blended, not to a puree. So they still had a crunch to them and there were still definitely carrot pieces left. I didn't follow the recipe. Surprise! If any of you know me or follow my recipes or follow my kitchen tips, you know that I generally don't follow recipes very strictly because I just don't. I get the ideas and then I go with the flow in my own space, right? So if you're a strict recipe follower, you're gonna have to learn to break the rules with me. So yes, I blended, chopped up the carrots in my blender. I added the nut milk to be not too thick, but that basically is what it was. It's the plan is that it's supposed to be on a slow cooker. So I can use everything in my Thermomix to be on a slow cooker. If you're using it on a pot, you'd have to be a little bit more careful and be watching and stirring it. And then I added, after a while, some more cardamom powder. I didn't add, just for the record, all of the cashew milk that I mentioned earlier. I didn't add a whole liter. I probably added about 500 milliliters, maybe a little bit less. It's about half. And I let it cook for quite a while in the Thermomix. It doesn't really need that much cooking. You could cook it on a higher temperature, but because I wasn't really wanting to be standing here paying attention, I let it on the slow cooking mode on my Thermomix, and I had it for probably 2 hours, just about, going hour and a half. And then I decided to increase the heat, and I was standing around and watching it a bit more. So probably it did, again, it depends how you're doing things in your kitchen, but maybe about 1 hour of proper cooking, maybe less. I believe the recipe that I followed was asking for 30 minutes, but again, that would be really standing over the stovetop and watching because you don't want your milk to burn on the bottom. But with a kitchen appliance like this Thermomix, it has this turning ability on the bottom, so it's constantly mixing depending on what setting you have it on. So anyways, I had that going, added more cardamom, and I added a little bit coconut sugar. You don't need to add any sugar if you don't want, because technically the carrots have a sweetness already, but I did add probably about 2 tablespoons maybe of sugar. The recipe called for quite a bit more. I don't even know how much more because I wasn't interested. Like I say, I have a sweet tooth, but I like to make sure that my things are healthy. So I'm like, I don't even want to think about how much you're asking for. So basically, this is the end result. Now it looks weird, but it's like it's translates to a carrot pudding. And if you like spice like cardamom, oh my God, this is so good. It's still warm. You can eat it warm, you can eat it room temperature, or even out of the fridge cold. It also had some options where you could put in a little bit of raisins. You can also roast and sprinkle on top some pistachio or any kind of nuts really that you want to have a little bit more of a crunch in there as well. Would taste really nice. I haven't done that yet because it just finished, and I put a little bit in a bowl for myself because I just want to show you guys like also how it looks. And of course you can cook it longer, cook it down longer, so it would be um, less moisture in the dish itself. But like I say, the recipe calls for it. I mean, the recipe is called basically a carrot pudding. So go with what texture suits you best. I'm going to take a little bite just because I want you guys to see my face when I'm eating this, because I can't lie anyway. So you're going to know the truth. Oh my God. It's so good. So, so good. I feel like I could eat this whole container right here, but I know that would be a little bit too much carrot. It's so delicious. I definitely did not over sweeten it. I always go with less sugar when I'm making something, and then you can always put a little bit more in if you want. Like I say, even you could add a little bit of raisins in there to help with it if you felt like that would be something like a little crunch or a taste you want. And it's so delicious. It's healthy. There's limited sweetener or added sweetener or sugar in there. Like I say, you could even eliminate that if you wanted, because the carrots have more of a sweet taste as opposed to savory in general. And it's so good. If you love cardamom, do it. Do it. Let me know how it goes. If you have any questions about this recipe, definitely you can write it in the comments. You can send me a link. You can send me a message as well if you're curious. I can't remember the name. I apologize, of the actual dish, what it's called in Indian, and it's probably wrong that I'm even saying that it's called, that it is in Indian, because I'm sure it's in a different language. Indian isn't a language. So I apologize in advance for anybody that I just may have offended with that. Probably it would have offended you more if I tried to pronounce it. But the translation is, like I say, carrot pudding. And apparently it's coming from northern India, specifically because carrots are also generally coming out in the colder months in northern India, and now is the time for it. So it's really good dessert, treat, snack, fabulous. And of course, if you wanted to experiment, you could add some different spices. Like cinnamon could go good in there, ginger could go good. I'm sure nutmeg or cloves could be nice in there as well. Like really adding any of those nice warming spices. A little bit of turmeric could be okay as well. I just really wanted to experiment this first round with just cardamom and see how that went. And it is so good. I had to make this video to share it with you. So if you're watching this and you like it, give me a thumbs up. Definitely let me know how it goes if you give the recipe a try. And definitely reach out if you are interested in tapping into more about the energies that are in the food in your kitchen. The food that you eat every day has energy in it. And if you want to learn more about that, I'm here for you. I'm here to support you on your healing journey that helps you to be a more vibrant self so you can help to create the world you want to see. Because if things aren't going good in here, it's really hard to put that energy out there. So I'm here to help you get that good, solid stuff inside you so you can root down and rise up. Yes. Take care, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.